What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Let's Build the U.S.S. Voyager Season 1, Episode 47. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. And if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Today we've got about a 27-minute episode. We're going to be picking up where we left off with the bridge, and then we're also going to start filling in the bottom side of the saucer. So without further ado, let's kick back, relax, and we're just going to dive right into this immediately. So what we're going to be picking up with today, now we're going to start working on our next layer point. Now, I have my starting point in place here. So this is why I said to give me a break about what the new process in which I was doing with getting our lines in order, or excuse me, regenerating our layers. Because on this row, I'm actually going to wing it. And I would not recommend this for those of you that don't know, that don't feel confident that you can do it, getting an oval. Now this first row that I do, it's not going to come out bad, but as I go, I'm going to have problems with it, and I'm ultimately going to have to go back to just using the pixel circle generator. So to fix that, basically what you guys would want to do is follow that same process, going off of our original x-axis point and counting out to your starting point here, and you would times that by 2, and then you'd bring that out to the right or left until you got to your hull line here, and that would be your width, and you'd times that by 2. But for the purpose of what we're doing here, I'm winging it. But like I said, what I'm doing here is not what we should be doing, because I just basically told you guys what the end result is going to be, is that by winging it, I'm essentially creating more work for myself when I'm going to have to come back and fix it, because it's not giving me that perfect oval that I'm looking for. And that's why I'm building it in red, because I don't know that this is going to work. And that just goes back to what I've been trying to tell you guys. Take your time with something. Don't rush through it, because in my experience on here, whether it's Minecraft, drawing, building models, whatever it is, the second you try to rush through it and cut corners, that's when your build is going to start to... your build is going to pay for it, essentially. Now this doesn't look bad. It looks good. You know, that's why, like I said, like I'm essentially lulling myself into a false sense of security right here, because it is coming out good. Because I've done circles and ovals enough to where I can basically just wing it as far as the template goes, you know. But with that being said, as we go, you're going to see what I mean. We're going to have some problems, and we're going to have to ultimately go back to exactly what we did when we did this first shelf on the bridge. And then after that fiasco going forward, that's just how I'm going to do every single layering point, because it's just going to be better. But you know, it is what it is with Minecraft. For me, like it's a learning experience. You live and you learn. And this is why I like to show my mistakes, because these mistakes is how we're going to get better as builders. You look at successful people, a lot of them will say, how come you're so successful? Because they're like, I learned from my mistakes. So we're going to take that same idea and try to apply it with the building and what we're learning here as we go. And I'm just... even at this stage in the game, I'm still learning. I need to pump my brakes and take my time, because that's probably the hardest thing with building in Minecraft, that once your build starts to take shape, it starts to get really, really exciting, and you're like, okay, I want to keep going. You know, I want to push through this. I want to get it done. I want to get it done. And then you end up cutting corners inadvertently and not even realizing it, that you're doing that, basically. You know what I mean? So, alright, so we've been cleaning this up a little bit. Now we're just going to start filling in our hull line. A lot of what we're doing right now is pretty cut and dry. It's not too difficult. But it's definitely going to be a needed change. And you know, like I said, my Voyager is not perfect. I'm about 96% of where I wanted it to be, but it's definitely not perfect. I don't know if you'd ever find any builder that would ever be 100% satisfied with their builds. Maybe so, but I don't know. For me, I feel like there's still always something that I can learn out of doing these. But I'm excited to when we get into the Excelsior so you guys can see what I learned from doing Voyager with the layering process on the saucer, because like I said, I feel like it'll be a good thing in the long run, with people having that visualization, you know. But all things considered, where we're at right now, she's not looking too bad. It's just really when we start adding in or adjusting the next couple of layers is where I'm going to get myself into trouble, and we're going to have to fix it. Yeah, because I had two issues on the top part of the saucer. Because there's like windows here on this area on Voyager, and then it's going at an angle, and this is also where the registration is. There's just not a lot of room to work with, for one. And for two, to get the shape right. I'm not going to lie, this was, believe it or not, probably one of the hardest areas on the ship. Just in general, like, that's why I say like the top part of the saucer of Voyager is hands down the hardest part of this entire build. Because what ended up happening is that after everything was said and done, I think I did a pretty good job with Voyager, but my version is a little bit more streamlined and sleeker than how Voyager should actually look. But we're not doing too bad right now. We're just getting rid of our old builder lines with the red and replacing that with the gray. I'm going to do that there too, because I'm just trying to start to blend things in to see how it's going to look. This row of the half slabs, we're going to get rid of this. Going right back to that cut line there, and we'll reblend it. Do the same thing on this side. Because that's the cool thing, because since we're only adjusting the front of it, we really only have to make adjustments to the front here, because when we come back, these other rows, we'll bring them around too, and that's when we'll blend everything in together. Like, that's what I was saying, like, just stick it out with me. We're not done blending all that in. Alright, so now we're going to go back to the stone slabs, and we're going to do just what I said. Now we're going to re-blend this in. You can see I'm just following our new template. I'm not going to do that very last row. I'm going to leave that flush. We're not going to do that. We're going to skip that and go right to the right side now. Alright, that's not looking too bad. What we should do up here as well is we're going to do the same thing, do the half slabs on this row too, just to make it blend just a little bit better. It's going to make that cut line a little bit less drastic, moving it to the half slabs. Yeah, that's looking a little bit better. Not perfect, but compared to what we had before, the shelf for the bridge looks 1,000 times better than what we had. Legit. Yeah, right now I'm just trying to do some detailing for the inner part of the bridge, but um, I think we might be making an adjustment to this. Not today, but at a later point. Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, what we'll do is once we finish closing in the bridge, later on when we come back to do our detailing, I think we're going to come back and do like just like a final uh, run of the bridge and make just like a couple of last minute adjustments to it, and then add in all of our detailing and everything. Because like I said, we're not focusing on details right now. We're just trying to get the shape of it. Once we get the shape in play, then we can really focus on detailing. Because it looks like we've already gotten some detailing done, but we've got quite a bit more to do. That's what I'm really looking forward to, is that once we get the shape of the ship done, that's where I feel like I have the most fun. Don't get me wrong, I love building the ships out, but for me, for whatever reason, it's detailing them where I have the most fun for some reason. Alright, we got a couple more rows to do, and then the outline for our bridge is done. Just like that. Not too bad, we got that done in 2 episodes. And tell me that doesn't look like Voyager's bridge. I think she's looking good. Alright, so now we're going to come back. You can see I'm just adding in the rows of half slabs with the stone slab underneath to make it a full one. Because what we're going to do is we're going to come back and I think we're going to do a row of quartz half slabs right in front of that row that we're adding right now. Because we're continuing on with our blending. Because we want to use the cut lines that we already have in place to try to make all of this work. We're going to have to make some tweaks and changes to it, but when we start to add in all this stuff right now, it's, believe it or not, it's going to help guide us in what we have to fill in and what we have to do. You know? But absolutely love how that shelf came out for Voyager. She looks awesome. And I think for right now, we're just going to do a full block going underneath the half slab just to close it in for now. We'll worry about the blending all the way at another point. I just want to get that closed up at the moment. Not looking too bad though. I think what we're going to do on this row here, because you noticed we had the quartz and that blends in with the stone, so I think we're just going to do the quartz blocks for this row and just see how it looks. Have a differentiation in color, it might not look too bad. But what I'm doing all right here, this is just honestly, it's a cosmetic choice, to be perfectly honest with you. That's the best way I can describe it, because on Voyager, there's actually not a lot of detailing on her. She's pretty much just like a flat gray. Um, and I mean, that's cool and all, but you have to. She'd look very, very plain if we didn't add in just a little bit of detailing. And I kind of feel like we can get away with a little bit of this by having in just a little bit more pinstriping, just to accentuate some of these shapes just a little bit better. I don't know. I didn't have anybody say anything when I did the tour episode, so I'm thinking that, it's not looking too bad. I might be a little bit hard on myself within this area of the build. And the other thing too, like when I'm building these ships out, like it looks like I'm making these changes one after the other, but you gotta understand too, like some of this stuff, well, not some of it, but unless I'm actively building, I don't record. This is something that I've made a point to add into my process so that I can try to eliminate down on my editing. So what's going to happen with my builds, when people are seeing them, it might make it look a little bit like the build is going a little bit faster than it should. That's because you guys aren't seeing the in between where I'm not actively building and I'm just kind of whizzing around and looking at the build, analyzing it, trying to figure out if what I did works, if it doesn't work, what I need to do to fix it. If that does work, what else do I need to add to the build to make it look even better? But with that being said, we're doing pretty good on the top portion of the saucer. So now we're going to transition over into the bottom portion of the saucer and try to get some more of this work done. Because now we are at the point where this is the only hole left on the ship. So I want to close that up. So that row that I just deleted, you're going to want to delete that going all the way around this shelf that we just added. And then we're going to come back and we're going to go along the line of the white concrete and we're going to do a row quartz. And we're going to do that going all the way around, following our white concrete. As long as you're going on the outline of that and you're following your pattern, no mistakes can be made. And if you did make a mistake, you need to go back, check your work, and go over again what we just went over, and you should be in good shape. I am going to get rid of this bottom access line because it's kind of getting a little bit close on that shelf. So I want to have that extra bit of room, so I'm just going to take off that very bottom row. So now I'm just continuing on with what I told you guys before, doing that, going all the way around. And then once you do that, then we're going to come back again, and on that same row we're going to do a row of white concrete going all the way around the white quartz. And as you can see, I didn't do this side yet with that last row of the concrete, so I need to do that before I can do my other row of white concrete. This is why I say pay attention to what you're doing, because even if you can still make a mistake. Because I'll still have people who are like, yeah, you made a mistake here, and like I'll go back and look at it and it's like, yep, sure did. I mean, it happens, Nobody's perfect. Mistakes are going to happen. Even with all these rules in place that we have with building, you're still going to make a mistake. That's why I always say go back, check your work, look at what you did, analyze it, figure out if you're happy with it, and go from there, you know. But we're looking pretty good. So what we're going to do now is we're doing the row of the gray concrete. We're doing this going all the way around. Alright, so then after we do that row of the gray, directly underneath that, we're going to do a row of white concrete. Trust me, there's a rhythm to my madness, because we're making another shelf that's going to make this area look just a little bit more prominent, because we want to build kind of like a shelf going around it. And I've just got to do the right side. We are looking pretty good. We're almost out of time. Just got going into our last 5 minutes of today's episode. Still can't believe that we're on episode 47. Like, I was even talking to my wife about, like, 2023 has just flown by. I can't believe, like, we're already into November. And I remember when I was just starting to work on Voyager, and, like, it's crazy just seeing the progression on this. Really happy with how this is turning out. This bottom section here, like, this is like, I don't know. I always liked this area on Voyager. I don't know why. I just kind of felt like it was unique. That's kind of the best way I can describe it. Voyager in itself, like, very, very unique and cool looking ship. But if I'm not mistaken, yeah, we're gonna transition over. There's a hole up here that I forgot to close in on the top part of the saucer. Because really what we're trying to do here with getting this middle piece done is so that we can get this done so that we can close in all of this around here. Because we really have to get this outline done before we can do that. So what I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at the lower hull of Voyager. And I'm looking at the patterns. So what I was just looking at on Voyager was the patterns that we had with our current template, and then I'm looking at the design of my reference pictures of Voyager for the undersection, and I'm looking at the line work that's underneath it. And what I'm trying to do here, rather than going back and double tapping the pixel circle generator to make life a little bit easier on myself, I'm using a pre-existing template. Because that's going to have to come all the way back, right where I showed you guys. So you can see that's what I did. We literally just built out that same row from the top, but we did it on the bottom. Going all the way back. Because when we close this in, that detail will still be in the hull. You'll still be able to see it. If I'm not mistaken, we're going to bring that all the way back to this blue build line back here. I'm going to stop on that row and then I'm going to bring it to the left. I'm going to do the same thing on the right side. It says builder line. You should still have this on your Voyager too. This is our stopping point. We're just going to bring it over. Telling you, this is where I say planning ahead. Because all we're doing right now is we're foreseeing that, okay, when we close in this hull, we're going to have to add in these bits of detailing. And why do that and why go through the pain of going through the pixel circle generator again when the template is literally right above us? See what I mean? And this is why I say work smarter, not harder. If you can reuse what you got, reuse it. There's no rule in place that says you can't. So now we're going to do the same thing again, but with this row right here, we're going to be repeating that, but on the same bottom lip. And I'm doing it in a different color because I want it to stand out. And this may not look like much right now, but I promise you guys, when we close this in and you see that extra bit of detail, you're like, oh, okay, I see what he was doing now. It'll make sense. It'll all make sense down the road. So we're going to do this for both the left side and the right side, going all the way back to that blue line, and then on top of that, we're going to bring it down by 1 block. You want to make sure you do the same thing on this side. And then we're going to build one down underneath it. Same thing. Bring that all the way back to that blue line. And then once you do that, that's going to wrap it up for us today. So, yeah, I think that's going to do it. I just want to thank everybody again for tuning in today's episode. And if you did enjoy this content, please help me out. Hit that like and subscribe button and helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you guys enough for that. Everyone that takes the time to watch my videos, you're awesome. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions regarding today's episode, or you're just dropping by to say hey, or any builds you want to see, be sure to drop a comment below or join the Discord to drop your build suggestion. But there's only going to be 2 episodes this week because of Thanksgiving and Black Friday. So this episode will be coming out on Wednesday. So I just want to wish everybody a happy and safe Thanksgiving weekend. And I hope everybody has an awesome time with their families. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Let me know in the comments section.